I think people don't believe in the flood today because they don't have access to the accurate information and evidences that are there. They are simply captive to entertainment, social media. There you have movies like Noah that in a very fictional and nonsensical way distorts the Bible totally. And for many people, that's the only source they have for something they think is a biblical account. We have, of course, a whole embedded presupposition of evolution and the geologic column and all of these things which tell students as they come along that the earth has existed for millions, if not billions of years, that man is a product simply of natural succession. A flood is a supernatural event. A flood is a divine judgment. A flood destroyed mankind. And they're not told that there are evidences of these things. They aren't shown the historicity of Genesis to say that this holds up very well in terms of our scientific age. So it's simply, on the one hand, a lack of information, and then on the other hand,
the fear of man. For the same reason that they don't believe in a lot of the things that the Bible says are literally true, literally history and literally science, the fear of looking silly and the intimidation by people who host science television shows and wear white lab coats. I think it's really that they're afraid of appearing silly in any way. But when you actually go past the surface and look at the feasibility of it and the historicity of it, it's almost inescapably plausible.
Conventional scientists, the secular scientists, think that the present is the key to the past. The Bible, in fact, tells us that the past is the key to the present. And the flood is key to understanding why the world is the way it is today, not just the geology, but even the humanity. Understanding the ark and the flood is very relevant to understanding why the world is the way it is today, how we got to be here. Everyone is interested in their history, and the flood is key to understanding our roots.
In the early 19th century, when the idea of millions of years was developed, it developed as a result of a conscious rejection of the flood and the biblical chronology. Most of the church came to the conclusion that the flood wasn't global, it wasn't really geologically significant, the age of the earth doesn't matter. And so over the next 100, 150 years, the flood was just kind of forgotten. And it still, in large measure today, is ignored by most Christians. They just never think of it and its relationship to the question of the age of the earth, but it's critically important.
We can go back and we can see in the fossil record, for example, what happened.
When we look at the world around us, when we look at all of those hundreds and hundreds of rock layers, they're sedimentary layers. That means they were laid down by water. The flood is a reminder that God judges sin, and God said He's going to judge the world again.
He sent the flood to punish evil at that time, and that's why God sent the flood. It's important to punish evil. That's justice.
What is just? The reason the ark is so amazingly relevant in the flood is because man's sin deserves judgment.
The Bible clearly reveals that we are now approaching the time when the second global judgment will come. If we don't understand or believe in the first global judgment, then we will not be ready for the final global judgment. So the consequences of the next judgment could not possibly be more relevant. What is at stake is heaven or hell.